The Global and International Terrorism Research Analysis Group, Jihad Analytics, says Nigeria now ranks the second most terrorized country by the Islamic State terrorist group globally. Jihad Analytics specializes in the collation of data on terrorist activities worldwide. According to the data by Jihad Analytics, Iraq came top, while Nigeria and Syria taking second and third positions, respectively. The report is coming against the backdrop of frequent claims by the Nigerian government that terrorists have been degraded to the barest minimum. Let's discuss this, and we have joining us via Zoom from Dutse in Jigawa State, a security expert, and he's a retired military officer and senior lecturer at Bayes University, Dr. Tanko Ahmed. Good morning, Dr. Tanko, and thank you so much for joining us on Daybreak this morning.
Good morning. Yes, I am a retired person, but I'm not a retired military officer. I'm a fellow of the National College. Thank you very much for having me this morning.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tanko. Let's quickly go into the discussion. I don't know if you have seen the reports from the Jihad Analytics about the trend of IS, Islamic State attacks around the globe. And this is coming especially after the degrading of their former so-called caliphate, the Islamic State in Syria and Levant. And what is this analytics, I mean, if you look at it at the global level, telling us? What is it telling us in the shift from since the killing of the former leader of the group, and then the dismantling of the former headquarters?
Thank you very much. My main concern when I saw this, the issue of whether I'm aware of it, many of us are aware of this, but my main concern is that is the credibility of this group called the Global and International Terrorist Research Analysis Group. By the name, you know that their title is over-exaggerated. What is the need of putting global and international in one place? This group has been identified as a forum where information are traded just like that without authenticity. And you can see the report itself is targeting the credibility of our own military forces. That is why it is also after frequent claims. What frequent claims? They are not claims anymore. Things are being aired on social media and everywhere, and we see the way our soldiers and other security agencies are crushing these people. So the issue of this jihadist group that will come out just overnight and place us in second place, I think it's not fair. It is not fair to
before we discuss the Nigeria rating. Can you hear me, Dr. Tanko? Before we discuss the rating of Nigeria, I want us to look at the shift away from Syria to other places around the world by the terrorist groups.
Yeah, we can do that through your own normal, credible news items that you watch every day, but not through this kind of groups that we just sit down somewhere, you don't even know where they are situated. They cannot decide and place Nigeria, give Nigeria a second position. What is happening to the global terrorism index, where all the information all over the world, all the trends on terrorism are collated and then redistributed to people, and these things are assessed credibly. But this group just had analytics. Let me tell you something about the group. About 10 years ago, the United States Department of Justice set up a very, very powerful panel of people to analyze the forum's activities. They discovered that this forum is even a platform for terrorists, where they pass information, where they use information to demoralize or to divide people from their government. I am not a government spokesman. In fact, I will blame our own experts, people that are engaged by government, they pay them salary, they work in the Federal Ministry of Information. They should be able to confront this kind of information, recapture it, and give us the fact before even you and me start talking about it.
Well, you know,
The
sir,
report is excellent.
you seem to heavily discuss the issue of the group, which of course is credible. It has its offices in Geneva and has all that. But we are not here to discuss whether it is an authentic platform.
It doesn't matter.
Let's discuss the substance. And my question, which you have not yet addressed, is whether the collapse of the Islamic State, what is the terrorism pattern after the collapse of the Islamic State, especially in sub-Saharan Africa? What is it telling us? What is this shift telling us as Africans, as Nigerians, and also, of course, at the global level?
Okay, what is telling us is a very, very natural trend that everybody can observe. You don't even need experts to tell you. Let's say you go with insecticide to attack a fire ant here. While you kill the real fire ants, many of them, they will escape. And some of these things will climb up your trousers and bite you in places where you will scream louder than when you are fighting them. So this is a natural trend. They'll keep on fighting, and our forces will keep on clamping on them until they cannot fight again.
Okay, Doctor, now in as much as you don't agree with this particular index, in 2021, Afghanistan was actually ranked first, you know, with a score of 9.11 points, and Nigeria ranked 6th on the Global Terrorism Index. Now, whether you like it or not, a lot of people seem to actually take this particular index into consideration. So what is the implication of this for the future of Nigeria?
The implication of this is the confusion in the understanding of the language of statistics. I am still telling you that our troops are doing well, so why don't we collect the actual facts of what is on the ground now to counter and discuss this? We have been seeing it. I have been seeing it from your own news news item. It is not false that our troops have been taking over in the last few months. My issue here is that statistics should not come in now to disrupt the way we think. Right now at this level, we need a stage where government now will water down security responsibility and participation to the people on the ground. It is only when we do that that these terrorists can even be clipped where they are before they even start what they are doing. And besides, also, I would like to call your attention to these things. What are these people terming as terrorist attacks? Is it banditry? Is it robbery? Is it kidnapping? Still in Nigeria here, we have not agreed on what is terrorism. In America today, the terrorist attacks are different because people have already categorized it. We have not categorized our own, or at the least we have not agreed on the basis of categorization.
So talking about categorization, where is the problem of this categorization coming from? Because it seems that even the government, including the security, the military, for example, in most of their statements, they say, for example, bandit terrorists in one term, so in one line. What does it mean? Why is this confusion coming?
The confusion is coming because some people in charge of information management industry are not doing their job. Specifically, I mentioned ministries like the Federal Ministry of Information with all its hold of agencies. What about the National Orientation Agency? If we are able to mobilize our people, this kind of story will be different. In America today, if there is attack, whether it's for street or house or anything, within 24 hours, they will tell you that whether it's a terrorist attack and by who. Because the people and the government are working with the security agencies. Here is just a confusing ground.
Okay, Doctor, you know, the troops are actually doing so much to bring an end to terrorism, you know, there's still pockets of attacks, you know, here and there. So as a security expert, are there contexts we aren't thinking about, you know, on how to prevent terrorism down the road?
Yeah, how to prevent terrorism down the road, I have already started explaining. Now, security responsibility and participation will have to be watered down to the level of the people. Last time I spoke on this kind of issue, I gave an example to the fighting COVID-19. By just profiling a disease, bringing in just 3 steps on how to deal with it, the disease was checked, and hundreds of millions of people are protected in this country. So it's the same thing now. We need security to be permeated or cascaded down to the ordinary citizen, some kind of a security ecosystem. Against the structure we have now, we are calling security architecture. It's not only for the military, it's not only for the police, it's not only for government. It is for everybody, it is for you, it is for me. Until we level up on the ground, that is down the road that you asked me, we will still be seeing this kind of pockets of responses.
Okay, so now looking at some of these things, like for example, we've been fighting the insurgency, this terrorism, especially from the northeast, for over 12 years now, and it seems intractable. What are the missing gaps? What are the missing links?
The missing links is the disconnection between government agencies and the people on the ground. Very simple. That is the missing link. Once you match this, any terrorist, even intent of terrorism, can be clipped where it stands. But for now, what do we do? If information like this scary statistics come in, everybody goes in there, we swallow it hook, line, and sinker.
Okay, well, it's just recently that we're beginning to see, you know, the efforts of, you know, the troops against the banditry and terrorism actually, you know, play out or even work in their favor. Why do you think it took this long for them to, you know, be able to put in so much effort to tackle, you know, terrorism?
Well, war or conflict is not a hard game where you just go in there, select your cards, the other person will get defeated. No. War, when you go into it, especially asymmetric war, the type that we have now, you have to go in there, grow in with it, be part of it, to fight with it. That is how it took. There are crises like this that used to take over hundreds of years in the past.
Okay, Doctor, so what about the role of the community itself? Because, you know, the community actually plays a huge role when it comes to tackling terrorism. What role do they have to play in addressing this issue, and how can they be involved?
Usually, every security agency has its own way of giving directly to the community. Let me start by even give you an example with the current community police program. This thing has been on the ground for a very, very long time. Once you affect this thing, the first advantage you are going to get is to establish kind of credible information on threats. Not a threat alert, no, real threats. Let's say you share out phone text, people that just send from the local police station to the DP or other thing instantly. If there are mobile patrol to there, or even the villagers themselves. Now we teach our own relations in the village on how not to process everybody that walks in. At least we should observe who comes in there and out, so that if something happens there, when we go, there is some information we collect from them. And also this information we are talking about, you have to teach people the way they will give you information, pure information, not information that has been diluted in rhetorics and other things. All these things you teach people to be able to do it. The way the Ministry of Health taught us just three things to fight the deadly conflict, which was the terrorism. Social distance, we were locked up in our houses, the face masks, and then other basic things. And then the same thing if you can profile terrorism from other, profile it out, away from other crime, teach the people what they should look for, teach them what to do immediately, and then teach them how to report. You will see the end of this thing. And naturally, this thing is taking place now because everybody wants to survive.
Well, in the past month, we've seen activities of terrorists from their main domain of maybe the northeast into places like Kogi, Taraba, and even Abuja. How do we ensure that we have not opened, the country did not open, or these people are not allowed to open another frontier of a theater of war away from the northeast?
Well, as we are addressing the general public, I'll still come back to my former, the last example I've given. If you are attacking a hill or a hole of fire ants with, let's say, a can of shelters, they would go out. Maybe you kill thousands and hundreds of thousands of them inside the hole. But then if two of them only will climb up your trouser, you will scream in such a way that everybody will know that you are running to hell. It's the same thing with permeated security threats like this. They are not made up of some kind of smart, physically organized body. No, but the idea is the one that is spreading. And information managers should be able to curtail ideas in such a way that people, if they commit this kind of act, they know what is going to happen to them. And to some extent, we even go to the extreme. It's not an issue of taking the law into your own hands. For example, now I will not allow a single person to harm me or my family here. When you come to harm me in my house, of course, I will try my best. If you come with overwhelming distance, you go. I will follow you until the end of time or the end of the world, and I will get you. And this is the kind of thinking everybody is supposed to be doing. If you do that, let the terrorists run to the police and military barracks to seek for justice.
But we are talking of attacks in places like maybe the Kuje prison and jailbreak, or attack on military checkpoints near Abuja, and also police stations and all that Islamic State claimed it is responsible for. And that's the main concern now.
Yeah. This question of attack is still under investigation, but from the immediate information that everybody is getting, there were people connived with them, and these people were arrested. This thing will have to be continued over and over again. We have to do it until we get it correctly. That is why you will have to be recruiting people over retraining. Otherwise, the way all this kind of thing, the day it closes down, then we don't have a country to run. It's all part of the hazards of running a modern state, living in a modern state, living in capitals like Abuja, living having prison staff or other people that connive with them. So it's all part of the game.
All right, Doctor, let's talk about prosecution of these terrorists themselves, because some quarters are actually of the opinion that, they don't get the proportionate and measured, punishment that they should. Do you think terrorists are prosecuted in adherence to the rule of law?
Okay, instead of using the word a prosecution, I would like to add delivery of justice. Hmm? Now, if you tell a person to come out, he refuses to come out of a forest and they keep on attacking people, you tell people to deliver justice to them where they are. The ones that you catch, we have problem of backlog of cases in our courts. A lot of people have made some very reasonable suggestion that we should have special courts for this. The Federal Road Safety is now controlling traffic offense by just simply issuing a test form and the amount of money you're going to pay. They don't need courts, they don't need anything. So there are a lot of things. And besides, also, not only the government, we should also come out to bring out, we should turn the fight against terrorism into big business. People that can do this should register security companies, some of them to track their movements, some of them to even go set in, or if government set out money as a prize, or bounty hunters should come out, or they are fetch them or alive and be comfortable with a lot of money in your pocket.
Okay. And so now you have spoken partly about the issue of capacity. Do you think in terms of capacity, equipment, and men on ground, the boots on ground, we are capable of tackling these multifaceted security challenges the country is facing?
Yeah, we are capable of doing it even before some of the equipment came in. But one of the vulnerability we have is the disconnection between the people and the government or these operations. Once we link up or close down this disconnection, you will see wonders. Because you will even have terrorists being attacked in their own family community. After all, we have some communities where people have taken it on themselves to solve this strife. We had of communities where fathers turn over their own children so that they will save their own family compound from other members of the community. This thing should be, there are things we should start thinking and acting outside the box, or sometimes even build our own box to deal with specific problems that is facing us.
All right, Doctor, earlier you talked about, bounty hunters and personnel working with security outfits, joining in, tackling the insecurity menace in Nigeria. But what about, cooperating and working with international partners? Should this be on the table?
Well, terrorism is not a local problem. Terrorism is an international problem. Terrorism is a global problem where a small part of what is happening in one end of the world can affect us here. What we do, for example, in the university, to teach students how they could calculate public opinion or calculate rising threats to security or something like that, we use what we call the butterfly effect. Butterfly effect is the same principle used by the weatherman to calculate and tell you that it is going to be sunny in this area, the way I'm seeing it here now, that it's not going to be raining. You can actually to people, they can participate. If you do that, you can, these people are human beings like us. And a lot of them, they don't even want to go into this kind of thing. They will tell you that that is the only ideology, that is the only way they think they can participate in a society where they feel like they are outcasts.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tonko Ahmed, for joining us this morning. And we've been talking to Dr. Tonko Ahmed, fellow War College and a senior lecturer at Bayes University in Abuja, who joined us virtually from Dutse, the Jigawa State capital. We hope to have you on another time on this program.